So today's topic is very interesting, something very close to my heart, especially because we are talking about, this whole talent divide. How do we build human capital for a global innovation economy, especially in the AI world? So I'm a super advocate about like AI and authenticity in today's world. So today's topic was quite interesting. We are going to touch on two key topics, right? It's really how is workforce changing. So the very first question that I have for these ladies. So Annie, I know you've been running your company for more than a decade, right? And so AI is changing how we work. So how do we attract and keep talent in this new reality? I saw how you've always been a lot about like, how do we commit people to stay in the organization for long, even when AI is disrupting? So maybe Annie can share a bit more about what AYP do and what's your belief in retaining talent.
Okay. So AYP is a HR technology platform. So we have pivoted, from when I started 16 years ago, it was a recruitment company. Then we go on to purchase or acquire a payroll outsourcing company. And then, in COVID time, we start to, consolidate and build our platform. So right now we are a HR tech, platform that helps company to expand in Asia Pacific. So how I see about, a talent is really we have to look at them as an entire life cycle. It's just like our client, right? What is your buyer journey? What is your whole life cycle? So for employee, it's not like you just recruit. Then after that, you just place them there and then, they go, you replace. So you look at employee as really, you have to develop them because the dividend only come, as it compounds, along the way. So about this AI thing, right? So we don't promise our people role stability. It's no longer exists. It's gone. Just like in the 80s, 90s, robots, automation has replaced production worker. In the 90s, internet has replaced some white collar people. So right now, same thing. AI will replace. I don't think AI will replace roles, because it will replace some skills. It will speed up the skills. Just like if you're hiring a marketing assistant, you won't say that, I will get AI. It doesn't make sense. So for us, we will guarantee growth stability. So we guarantee our people that when you join us, you continue to grow with us. So one example is my MD. So she has been with me for 10 years. Her name is Jolene, okay, and when she joined us, she was a fresh graduate, but a few years ago, we see her potential, we want to further develop her. So we place her, in various cross functions, and then we also, let her take care, come into P&L responsibility and discussions and all this. We give a job rotation. Eventually, we promoted her. She's now our MD. When we had that discussion with her, we were in 4 locations in Asia. Right now we are in 14 locations. So she helped us really expand it. So this is how this talent compounded if you look after them. So for us, we promise our employee, if you join us, you will continue to grow. This is something is guaranteed for us.
Thank you. I hear a lot about growth and it's very empowering, right? From fresh grad all the way to MD. Next, we have Violet. So before we chatted, Violet's company is all about love, right? Lunch actually, right? How you meet people and find love. So I believe that's also the anchor for her company culture, right? I think before this, we spoke about company culture as a key anchor. Share a bit more, like what's your thoughts about company culture? How do you anchor love in your company, especially in this AI world?
Thank you, Charmain. So just a very quick introduction about what we do. So we started off as, I would say, one-to-one company where we arrange dates for busy working professionals, started in Singapore and subsequently expanded to 6 different markets. So currently we are in Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Indonesia, Thailand, and Taiwan. So company culture is obviously very important, but I think why we realize that it's even more so important for our business is because when people think about matchmaking, they always think it's the most amazing thing, people finding love, everybody's going to be happy. Of course, that happens when people find love, but at the same time, we're in an industry where it's actually very emotional. So I always tell people, I say things that we hear, what clients tell us are usually things that they wouldn't usually tell other people in their life, but we hear all about it. So at the same time, time, they can also get very emotional. And when things don't work out, we probably are the easiest person to blame as well. So sometimes we do have like clients calling up the office, and then they'll be like screaming at our matchmakers, and then like our matchmakers will end up crying, and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I brought all these like people to come and work for us, they thinking that they are like helping people find love and like doing this amazing meaningful job, which they are, but of course there are these maybe not so happy incidents sometimes. So I thought it's very important that we create a company culture where our team members, our associates come to the office every day and feel that they're actually coming to a second home. So that's something that we focus a lot on. So for example, some of the things that we have done is we have this system called Cupid coins, because like everything in our company is about love, passion, Cupid. So what it means is that when people go an extra mile, like they do something more, we'll actually reward them with coins. So when we first started 22 years ago, it was really like physical coins, but now it's like everything, it's obviously, online, and they can then use these coins to exchange for things. And I've been quite impressed, like how much people are willing to go the extra mile just for these coins. But I think it's really about gamification and just about having fun. So that has actually worked very well for us. And I think the other thing that really helped us build our culture is something I believe in is three things, like meaning, autonomy, and mastery. So like when people come in to join us, like I guess for our business is very easy in the sense that meaning is already built in. So when people join us, they know that, okay, my meaning is here to help people find love. And I guess there's not many industries out there. You're not just helping one person, but like generations to come. So that's built in. But the next part is autonomy. So we believe very much in that every single person have a say. So like in every meetings that we have, like I always make sure the managers like don't say anything, like it's really open it up to the floor, like let every single person, be it they are like a junior team member that has just joined to like maybe even an intern, for everybody to just chip in to give their ideas, because I always believe that someone who is on the ground, someone who's really meeting the clients, they are the one who have even more data points than us. So I think that gives our associates a lot of autonomy, because they feel that they can actually make a change. Like whatever ideas they can come up with can actually contribute to like changing a system or changing a product in the company. And last but not least, mastery. So I think that's connected to AI as well. So I think what we are trying to do is that with AI, in our business, I would say that AI is helpful, but there will be nothing that can really replace the emotional part of what a matchmaker can bring to the table. So obviously like algorithms might help like with, okay, this is a compatible match, but the algorithm cannot read between the lines. The algorithm cannot like really sense like, some emotions that like clients might exhibit. So what we have done is to encourage our workforce to use AI. In fact, now we make it on their scorecard that if you're not learning AI, you're not using AI in your job, you potentially could be penalized when it comes to your performance appraisal. But at the same time, like ultimately, we really want them to master their role. Yes, with AI's help, but ultimately also increasing their skills, especially in terms of soft skill, to be able to best serve their clients.
Interesting. So Cupid coins you can try, but Cupid is only for like lunch actually love. So you can use other kinds of coins. So it's interesting you spoke about, emotional element. And so Krystal, it's all about psychological safety, believing how do we bring about diversity, inclusion. So Krystal, share with us a bit more, right? On the opposite of AI, you believe a lot about inclusion. How do we make somebody better well-being? So how in this AI world are you helping companies to embrace that, to embrace the mastery of self?
So I don't think the opposite of AI is emotions. AI is trained on people, right? Our output. And it's trained on poetry, it's trained on art, it's trained on psychology. So how do I help companies? In this economy right now, we're seeing a lot of instability, a lot. People are so worried about where AI is going to go, right? Right now, any of us, all of us, we've used AI, right? I use it to vibe code, spin up apps when I have time, streamline my thought processes as well. But end of the day, how are you, none of us actually know where AI is going to go. And in fact, in the news, a lot of people are leaving like OpenAI and the big AI companies because they're worried about where it's going to go and they don't want to contribute to that chaos, right? And so what do we have within our control? We're not going to be able to dictate the path of these different bots out there, different intelligences out there. But what we can dictate and master is ourself. And as a leader, and in large and small companies alike, mastering your psychological landscape is what will get you to the behaviors, to the outcomes that you want. So, for example, you mentioned such beautiful things like meaning, autonomy, mastery. These are actually psychological dimensions as well, right? Meaning is one of the two most contested ways to be happy, right? Eudaimonia, that's meaning. And meaning allows you to persist despite pain. Meaning is what gets you through the obstacle to where you want to go, because that's where you have purpose. Now, in autonomy, and that's a really interesting one as well, autonomy is really important when we talk about how can we build the individual up. So the one big mistake that corporates always make is they try to change behaviors. And you can't do that because the behavior is just a manifestation of what's going on inside. If the leader is yelling, you can say, don't yell. If the salesperson who got promoted to become a sales director and is now causing hemorrhaging in the sales department because he doesn't have the right psychological landscape to be a leader instead of just an individual contributor, then you have to still invest in their psychological architecture. So that one mistake that companies are always making is changing behavior, right? You can't tell him, oh, can you just be softer? Can you just don't be yourself, essentially, right? The same skills that got him promoted. You can't tell him that. So I had a situation like that before. And instead of teaching this person to soften up or even telling that person, we didn't even cover that. What I did was I mapped his psychological architecture and I saw, oh, he's safety and play deficient, right? Because there are three main domains: safety, challenge, and play. And so he's super high on challenge, very low on safety, very low on play. And time again, depending on which domains you're low in, you manifest very predictable behaviors. You're low on play, you're going to be very rigid. If someone's laughing, you're going to be unhappy about it. You just cannot tolerate change. You cannot tolerate creativity or difference. You always need a goal. If you're low on safety, maybe you find your self-worth in challenge instead. And then what happens? You're never going to get it. And so you're going to take it out on the people around you when you don't have that sense of self-worth. You don't enter a room with ease and confidence that's natural because you're not grounded within. And so when corporations continuously focus on this outer layer of behavioral training for their leaders, you're going to get the same musical chair effect of changing people, finding a problem, changing again, finding a problem, instead of building the person up. And so what I help corporations do is build the person up, build that psychological landscape and architecture so that regardless of which high stress situation they find themselves in, and they will find themselves in these situations, they're going to be able to have the groundedness, the alignment to meaning and to the company, and also the energy, right? Mental energy, physical energy to deal with that and bring their team through in a way they don't regret.
Nice. So it's a lot about like knowing, you mentioned play, challenge, and what's the
Yeah, so challenge, right? Safety and play. Yeah, three simple domains. Very, very simple, but impossible to harmonize. But if you find the harmony, life is well lived. Like for me now, as a mom of a 2-year-old toddler, I don't have play in my life. I know that. I don't have time for it. And even as I'm playing with her, you're always trying to manage danger and everything. So it's tiring. And I accept that. And sometimes you don't need all three to be balanced. You don't. But the awareness of it allows me then to say, okay, I'm going to take 5 minutes to play some music, to write some poetry. Those are my forms of play. And suddenly I'm full of energy again to give to my work, to give to myself, my husband, my children, my friends, my community. And so that awareness is the key thing, not that behavioral change. Like your life is not going to suddenly change when you wake up at 4 a.m. People try to copy all the habits of these highly successful people constantly without looking within. What's my successful habit? What can I do to contribute to my well-being?
Yeah. Beautiful. So she focused a lot on individuals, right? Like, our company help with on-the-job training plans. I think they should really implement this self-awareness thing.
Please.
Let me tell SkillsFuture tomorrow. But that aside, but now there are a lot of the AI as per the budget. So let's go into Antoinette, which actually adds on. So she helps individuals, and Antoinette, I believe she helps companies.
That's right.
Right. So the company is called Safe Space. Like, how can a company be a safe space for people? Right. So tell us a bit more, how do you help companies to build safe spaces? And, in this whole topic of building human capital, how does that safe space help to build human capital?
Yeah, I think for us, when we talk to companies and when we...
Can you hear?
Can you?
Yeah, that's okay. Mic. Yeah.
Yeah. So we talk to companies and we ask them when it comes to their talent, there's no such thing as perfect job readiness anymore. Things are changing. Industries are changing because of AI. What we focus a lot more is actually on being adaptable. So are you adaptable? Are your employees feeling psychologically safe to learn, unlearn, and then ask for help? And if that's not present, then that's where Safe Space can come in to help build that psychological safety within teams. So if you don't really have that element of psychological safety, yes, you can upskill them as much as you want. But if you don't feel safe to experiment, then skills will stagnate. Everything will stagnate for your organization as well. So we come in to do, learning and development training. We'll check in to see, do they actually have a buddy that they feel safe to talk to within the organization? And if not, do they want to talk to a counselor or a coach that we can provide, which is a third party for them to feel psychologically safe with? So we'll normally work with organizations in that kind of capacity.
Wow, it's very interesting. So, for us, we also talked to the L&D team, which we spoke to her about, we talk a lot about how do you embrace AI? But I realized people don't really talk a bit about how do we embrace the anxiety that comes with AI, right? So that's why it's really a good mix between, in this building human capital, it's really how do you blend in embracing AI as part of work, and also not only that, understanding how they feel, right? So let's go into the next question. It's, under the AI and operations. I'm curious now how each of you are using AI in your workforce. So maybe we can start with Annie. And how does it help with building human capital?
Okay. Wow. What an experience for me in terms of AI. So we started last year. Yeah, because for me, I feel that if the company need to scale, right? So my ideal customer are mid-sized companies. So mid-sized companies, they have their requirement. So they need to every one of them invoice this way, payroll cut off another day, that kind. So we had a platform, but because we are building based on human being, so we cannot scale. So we use processes, people to help. Okay, this customer, I need to remember this data, I do this. So as we expand, then I realized that we can't scale at all. We'll get into trouble. We'll make mistakes because of human being, because all this complexity builds up. So June last year, we embarked on the AI. I said, wow, got AI. Okay, I'm going to use AI, go and develop, my whole platform, for my clients to use. So then, our people initially resisted, but, no choice, but they just listen and try out. So I thought it's quite simple. Okay, so first of all, you build your business requirement documents, like what the business need, Okay, we use AI to do this. Then after that, we build a product agent, okay? The product agent supposed to use the business requirement documentation to come up with the product requirement documentation. And that, we also use AI to go and say, okay, how many tickets, are there, go into tickets, then go into story points. Yeah, then we thought, link with the AI developer, the developer agent, then everything will just come out. Little to my, I was really surprised when actual thing, right? Wow, the PRD, nobody can understand what is this. Yeah, then the thing cannot work. The button cannot click. Everything cannot work. So everybody was so astonished. Then after that, we have this timeline. We said a delay. We wanted to go live in January, but somehow cannot. So we said, okay, never mind. Launch in March. So in March, just this week, I realized that, something, what the software developer did, so when they put in the prompts, right, then thing cannot work. Then what they do is that they go back, like what, Krystal said, when you're under stress, you need to deliver, you go back to something you're familiar. So software developer go and code themselves. Yeah. So product also same thing. When they're under pressure, the ticket come out, the PRD come out, not clear, no context, no history, no, nothing, because the AI will assume everything. We cannot assume that the AI know. It's just like the AI assumed that this is the case, there's so much dependency and everything, right? So the ticket, they also went into product, person also went in to go and change. So that slows down, the whole thing. So I think, that cannot work. What we have to do, the coder need to change the mindset. They need to change to, being a architect, a designer, being understanding the customer, the logic, behind the process. Someone that validate the output. So the role of the coder has changed. Likewise, the role of a product person has changed. So the roles, kind of like, transform. Yeah, so that is like, my personal experience in terms of like, it's fast, very fast. The coding is very fast, but initially come out all rubbish. So we need to continue to really learn and train. I can imagine that like a junior employee, when the employee come in, you recruit already, you just put the person in the job, you think that the person, can do everything. But then you realize that, no, the employee actually cannot do something so different from what you expect the person to do. So you got two options. The first option is you do yourself. I have people who do themselves. End up they do until very, very late. Because they feel that if I tell the person to do, train the person to do, I will do it faster. It's faster that way. So there's another group of people who really enable, coach the person. Then that really compound. Let's see the long-term effect. Although short-term is very slow, but long-term it compounded. So likewise for our software. So initially when you do the training, the prompting and everything, right, it's very difficult, but after that it will compound. So the reaction of my team, the first reaction is, all don't believe it works. Everyone, although they try to do right, but they don't believe it works. So that is the first reaction. They until yesterday, they still tell me top management decision. Yeah, but I do see, them changing. I do see them changing. Yeah, because the second thing, that is going to come, because I say that no human intervention, no coding. You cannot code. You got no choice. You have to learn how to prompt. Yeah. So we see that, the AI, the results will get better.
Yeah. Amazing. So you're really even enabling people within the organization to embrace AI. I think one keyword you mentioned that was amazing is mindset, right? I think even I myself who used to run an AI company, it's very tough, like when you need software engineers to unlearn and relearn. So in building human capital in terms of changing mindset, how can they start thinking like an architect, a project manager, more than just a developer themselves? And so now Violet, you streamline matchmaking operations, that's your business. How do you then build human capital in this AI world? How do you use AI in your company?
Okay, so I think we started small. So initially, we were really just encouraging our teammates to start with ChatGPT. I was amazed how difficult it was because when I used it myself, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is the best thing ever. But it took a while. But I think right now we are using it on two levels. Like one is like my expectation is that my team members, for example, like my sales consultant, that they are supposed to use ChatGPT to check out like the client that they are going to meet. So like I was showing them the other day and then they were quite impressed. I was like, you can totally just get the LinkedIn profile of a person, like, and then ask ChatGPT to check out what is the psychological profile of this person, what is the best way to sell to them, what are the things to say, what are the things not to say. And I think, of course, like my sales team, they are very experienced, but I think just having some of these key things, like for example, like some people, they might like the very emotional kind of approach, but some people, they are like, no, don't tell me sob stories or like success stories. What I want to know is really exactly what this can do for me. Like some people, they want you to just keep going on and on. Some people just want you to just kind of shut up after a while and then just let them make that decision, right? So I think that's one side of it, like really expecting like my associates to be using ChatGPT on their own to do some of this research. The other side of it is really more on the company side. So for example, we are using AI to look at all of our previous matches, like what constitute a successful match, like why like some matches like end up like being a marriage, like why some like kind of combusted and like they call in and shout at us. So I think some of this information definitely then help us to come up with a better algorithm to do the filtering of the matches. So like I mentioned, it's just for filtering because ultimately like each match is still like being handpicked by our matchmaker. The other part of it is also like when we are doing the match, and after that we have to connect with our clients to share with them why have we made this match. So AI has been amazing as well because obviously again like my matchmakers, they are very nurturing, they are very compassionate, but maybe sometimes they just don't have the right words. So again like AI has been very helpful to help us to even craft like how do we share with our clients to convince them like, okay, like this match might not be 100% of everything you're looking for. So for example, like, like both guys and girls in the room. So for girls, one of the biggest thing is height. Okay. So it's like, they'll be like, I want someone who is 1.85 meters. And I'm like, do you know what is the average height of Singaporean men? So average height of Singaporean men, by the way, if you're interested, is 1.73. Okay, so for example, then like we'll be like, okay, we found you this amazing match, right? But unfortunately, he's not 1.85. He's like, maybe 1.79. Does that work? Okay, but again, like AI, like we actually come up with scripts to share with our matchmakers if they need to rely on it to better, I would say, pitch matches to the clients because ultimately we want them to go on dates so that they can have an option to widen their social circle, right? And I would say the other piece of it is really helping our matchmakers to focus their time on like things that are most meaningful to our clients. So the parts where our clients enjoy the most is obviously talking to our matchmakers, giving them feedback, like getting tips, being coached. So these are the things that AI cannot do as well. So what we also utilize AI for is really on the arranging of the dates. Because clearly our clients are very busy people. So they will end up like, okay, I'm free on Friday. And then like we arrange it and they say, oh, I'm not free anymore. So that whole scheduling can be a nightmare. So AI has been very helpful to take away some of this very, I would say, nitty gritty and grinding sort of work away from my matchmakers so that they can focus on what's most important for my clients.
Amazing. So you use AI to redeem time. I see people using ChatGPT. Are you all searching your dates now and like see how matched you guys are? Okay. Oh, see, but they are nodding their head. They really did. Yeah.
So can I ask a question? I'm so curious to know what are the male requirements then if females is high?
Yes.
I'm so curious.
I know this is building human capital includes male and female.
We only have another 10 minutes. I probably can talk an hour on that.
Please book an appointment with her if you want to find out more. Okay, so that's interesting, right? So you talk about, I'm definitely going to put in my AI education course case studies. Use AI to matchmake. Okay. But what if people don't get together because of AI? That'd be quite sad. Okay, next, coming to Krystal. You talk a lot about psychological play, challenge, like I said, safety, right? So you believe so much in like embracing somebody for who they are. So, but you also talk about using vibe coding, right? So how are you using AI in your own work or even in helping others and building human capital?
So in my past life, I was a tech entrepreneur, and I was coding my own apps. And so I'm very curious explorer in this space. I tend to code mini apps, like let's say, because I hate being on video and I prefer when someone interviews me and I'm responding. I can't do the TikTok thing, just talking. Like it feels super awkward. So I coded this like teleprompter app So I'm like, in general, I want to talk about this. Can you just interview me? And then the AI coded it up, and yeah, it pretty much worked. So that was fun. So in my field, I have an assessment. It's about 60 plus questions. You get a 40-page report. It's personalized to you. Now, I can't put any of this in AI ethically unless I code my own machine on my own server. Because this is people's results that, just like business results, you have to take care of them. These are precious things, and so these are people's psychological snapshots, right? In a moment in time. So what I can do is I can put a lot of the material, because even though the 3 domains are very simple, psychology is far from. It's extremely complex. I'm sure Violet can attest to this, right? There are layers upon layers. And so I've explored the depths of all of this. And what I've found is that when I try to workshop it, there's a very, very small limit that people can take because it's heavy. This is hard work to go inward. And so what I use AI to do is actually to humanize it in a way, simplify it in a way, because my background is research. I love the white papers. I read journals every day. I'm like 50 pages in, no problem. That's not the average attention span right now, fortunately or unfortunately. So AI is very helpful for us to put in heavy material and have them spit out things that are both understandable but also still accurate to the material and helpful to the person receiving it. And so that way I still can protect their integrity of their own psychological state while still trying to create more efficiency on my end. Essentially, a lot of AI is just to, I guess, make things more efficient, to test my thought process in sales, marketing, things like that don't touch any of my clients' results, essentially.
She mentioned something really important, which is like AI and data safety. Especially in the space of psychology, safe space, right?
Yeah, you have to be ethical about how you're handling all of this, especially today. Like, it's so easy to just hack. Like, I could hack your site, your profile now. Given enough
please do not research us. I know you're going to ask ChatGPT. Okay, and lastly, we have Antoinette to share. We talk about psychology, safety. You help to create safe spaces. Now with AI, infringing our data and our privacy, you can even search your height and everything. How are you doing using AI today and in helping businesses with their building of human capital?
Yeah. Okay, for us at Safe Space, we don't believe that AI will ever fully replace human therapy, but it can be used as an enabler to improve our operations, efficiency, help the therapist to actually take notes in a more effective manner so that they can actually focus on the therapy session. So things that AI can do would be like, they are able to simulate empathy, but they are still not able to be relationship and to have presence in relationships. So that's where we still feel that there is a place for it, but it's not going to replace humans anytime soon.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think the relationship part is very real. I always believe, I think it's a very interesting panel. We believe a lot in AI and authenticity, right? It's really about knowing who you are, because all of us are born different, created differently. But we're also living in an AI world. How do we embrace AI effectively? So I know as I saw the signs, I'm less than 5 minutes. So maybe if all the panelists here could share, what is one key thing that you want the audience here to take back in this AI world, in really helping to think about yourself as a leader, in leading your organization, as well as how to ensure that your company embrace AI while feeling psychologically safe, right? So if everyone could share an insight, an example, or a takeaway you would like the audience to have.
Okay, so AI is here to stay, because AI will help us be more efficient. Everybody wants efficiency, right? But AI also created, a lot of, and people also want trust, because AI also created a lot of untrusting. People nowadays don't trust each other. So, and trust is very crucial. Everybody long for trust, long for leadership, in a company, long for really like human relationship. So how to build trust, right, in the organization is really through being vulnerable, and then also peer-to-peer feedback, need to inculcate an environment to be able to give feedback, not just superior to subordinate feedback, but peer-to-peer feedback, so that everyone is accountable to grow, and committed to grow together and achieve the results. So, so AI will not, replace human being. However, the sustainability, competitiveness in doing business, right, is not by the tools that you use. It's not like you use how many AI tools or whatever. It's not that way. But it's really built through developing leaders who can lead, the company through the change. And that is really the long-term thing.
Amazing. Developing leaders while building trust. And Violet.
I think for me, when it comes to implementing AI in the company, I think the most important thing is really leading by ourselves. So I would say like I'm definitely like one of the first, if not the first, to like jump in and try out, all of the AI tools out there, like starting with ChatGPT and subsequently with other Gen AI things. And I think like my most recent meeting with my tech lead, I think he was suitably impressed because I was showing him this sales console that I built through vibe coding. And then I think he was a bit like, oh my goodness, like what is my boss doing, right? But I think like the idea behind it is that sometimes there's just such a big gap because like people don't understand it or they think it's so impossible. But I think if they can see that, like their boss so-called, who is like obviously a not so like tech person, like I really cannot code, like other than using vibe coding, I think that really helped to bridge the difference. And like even when I talk to like other C-suite members, like and just showing them like what I've created, I think that really pushed the boundary for them as well to let them know that wow, like if we really want this to work, we need to be at the forefront of it and leading it ourselves, because I think there's just a lot of fear involved. So I think when people know that when we want to bring in AI into the company, it's not about replacing people. Like how do we communicate that and let them know it's really not just for the company to grow, but it's for you to grow as well. Because I think when people pick up AI, they have the skills, like even when they leave like the company, they are able to bring these skills with them like elsewhere, and that's also good for their career growth. So I think like being open, being transparent, and also letting them know that this is not going to take them forward, but in fact it's going to bring them not bring them backward, but bring them forward. I think that will really help.
Amazing. So lead by example, right? Actually, it's amazing. You see all the leaders here all using different kind of vibe coding, build sales console. Teach me how later. Next we have Krystal. You talk about vibe coding. So how are you, what's the one key takeaway you like the group to have?
The key insight, I guess, for talent, not going to talk too much about AI. Honestly, slightly sick of the conversation around AI these days. So much has been said already. I can't contribute. But for talent, that's where I can come in. If you're a VC and you have a portfolio of companies, you know that you're not betting on the skills or even history of the person. You're betting on their psychology, their architecture. Can they hold the company? Can they make the right decisions at the right time? Can they grow and scale the company from 1 to 2, even if they could get it from 0 to 1? These are all different questions that you might have that are baked into someone's psychology. And so if you're a VC, I would say that the insight is you need to invest in the leaders in your portfolio companies to ensure the best chances of success when they're hit with the different stress points that inevitably entrepreneurship will provide, right? Second, as a leader yourself, question your own self-awareness. How important and how relevant is it for you to keep acting on it every day or every week or every month? How often do you actually think about it? So for people who are already leading, I would say just look inward. And if you need more answers, you can call me.
Amazing. Look inward and get answers from yourself. Lastly, Antoinette, let's hit it home with the last takeaway.
Okay. All right. So for everyone in this room who's either running a business or you've got a startup portfolio that's with you, mental health and psychological safety, they are not soft issues. They are really infrastructure to ensure the business succeeds. So if you want to build a talent strategy, include AI as part of the skills capabilities for your employees, ensuring that they are psychologically safe to be tested is really important for your organization. So we are qualified to talk about this at Safe Space. We are winning an award tonight for Customer Impact Excellence, so a real shout out to my team. And if anyone wants to continue the discussion afterwards, we'd be very happy to discuss further. So yeah, the floor is open for me.
Thank you, Antoinette. So today I'm really very blessed because my academy, we teach a lot of career conversion program, upskilling, reskilling with AI and authenticity in building like how everybody can unleash their potential. So today, thank you ladies for being such a great panel, and I hope you guys have some good takeaways today. Thank you.
Thank you.